My name is Denise Lee, and I'm the high school director of student services here. I know that as senior parents, you're probably feeling a lot of emotions. You're excited, maybe you're happy, don't know if you're sad about your child graduating soon and applying to colleges. I know that I asked a group of seniors how they're feeling about applying to colleges, and the overwhelming response this morning was that they're feeling stressed. So whatever you're feeling, just know, please know that we are here to support you through this year and to support you through the college application process. And so that's what the majority of tonight is going to be about. And so in a few moments, I will introduce you to the Student Services Department, and you will get to meet your counselor who will be working with your student this year. But before we get to that, I do want to introduce you to our 12th grade principal, Mr. Clements, who will go over some just general important senior information for you all.
Look at that. Good evening. Congratulations on attending your final back to school night, at least for this kid. I'm sure some of you might, hey, there you go. Some of you might have some kids in the loop, but at least for this one, you're done after tonight. Congratulations. I am Daniel Clements. I am the new Sub-School 12 principal. I understand that I have some extremely large shoes to fill with Ms. Wong moving up to the associate principal. Promise you I'm going to do my best to make this year as stress-free on you and your students as possible. If you need anything, please feel free to reach out, call me in the office, send me an email. I promise to get back to you as soon as possible. Like Dr. Lee said, I just wanted to share some important dates. If you don't remember all these dates, we are videoing this presentation and we'll post it so you guys can view it again. So just for your information, homecoming week the homecoming dance is September 28th, but we do have the events leading up to the dance that entire week. The senior breakfast will be October 29th. 100 days to graduation, which, contrary to popular belief, is not a senior skip day, is February 25th. And the selection of the graduation speaker, we'll hopefully have that done by April. The signing party or the senior breakfast or the senior lunch, whatever it is, I'm still trying to get caught up to speed with all this. That will be May, June. Prom, big day, is May 29th, and graduation, giddy up, is June 3rd. So senior dues at this point are $75. There's no like drop dead date for getting your senior dues in. They're continuous, but they do increase to $110 on January 1st. So if you want to save yourself some money, let's get the dues paid as quickly as possible. You can pay online at myschoolbucks.com or in the Sub-School 12 office. We'll take cash or check. And then lastly, our all-night grad party coordinators are Michelle Gates and Jennifer Underwood, and they actually have a table set up in the Rand Mall if you guys would like to stop by and see the flyers and all the information in regards to all-night grad party. I look forward to working with all of you this year. I'm really excited. I went here. I've actually attended school here. I taught for 10 years here, took a 2-year hiatus, and couldn't be more thrilled to be back. Like I said, if you need anything, reach out. I'm more than happy to help.
Thank you, Mr. Clements. I did want to introduce to you all our school counselors, but I believe a few of them are still setting up for their presentations in their respective locations. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce our College and Career Center specialist, Mrs. Doyle. She is a wonderful resource to you all and to your students, and so I'll turn it over to her right now.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. I know it's a very stressful time. Believe me, we feel it, we know it, we talk to the kids every day, so we know what you're going through. I personally went through the process twice as a Robinson parent, so I get it. There's 2 dates on here that for somehow they didn't get on the slide. The first one is PSAT Day, which is October 16th. Seniors do not come to school that day. We encourage them to work on their applications, go to visit a college, whatever they need to do to get going with that college application process. So October 16th, seniors do not come to school. And then the other date is senior awards ceremony. It's the day before graduation, so it's June 2nd. And that is an invitation-only event, so if your student is going to be awarded something, they will get an invitation. So that's 4 p.m. On June 2nd. So you might want to just pencil that into your calendar in case you need to know that. Okay, so we're going to try and go through some of these slides kind of quickly just because the counselors need to talk to you and get into more detail about things. So students should come to visit the College and Career Center. If they have any questions about their application, deadlines, testing, scholarships, financial aid, if they want to come to a college visit, I have about 150 colleges scheduled already to come to visit Robinson. So if they have questions about a specific college application, they can come get the question answered by the rep who's here. Some colleges actually track interest. So they do consider the student coming to the visit at their high school as interest. Large state schools don't track interest, so Virginia Tech, UVA, JMU don't, but smaller schools typically do. So if they can somehow make those visits, they really should. Naviance Student, I don't know how many of you have used this or seen this, but this is a great program that students have access to. The county pays for this. There's a lot of great information on there. There's college and career information. Scattergrams, which I think your students probably know about, kind of gives information about students who graduated from Robinson, what their GPAs and test scores were. It's anonymous, but for different colleges. So that's a great tool. It's a starting point. It's not going to give you definitive information, but it's a good starting point. There's scholarships on there. They sign up for rep visits on there. And then you can access it through your Parent View account. Students get to it through their 24/7 account. Financial aid. Okay, this is a big one. October 1st is the day that the FAFSA opens. If you have older children, you might have remembered that the FAFSA didn't open up till January. Well, that changed several years ago. It now opens up October 1st. Do not fill it out before October 1st because you'll be filling out the wrong year. So wait till October 1st to fill it out. We're having a financial aid night here at Robinson on October 2nd. So if you've attended that before, we're having the same speaker who's terrific. He's one of our Robinson parents. He does a really great job. So there's two forms, basically. FAFSA, which is a free application for federal student aid. Most colleges require that for need-based aid. The CSS profile, not many colleges require that, but in the state of Virginia, UVA and William & Mary require it in addition to FAFSA. So just make sure you're taking care of both of those forms if you need to. If you need to get a good idea of what the school might cost you before you get your financial aid package, every single college is required to have a net price calculator on their website. So you put some information in, and it spits out some, maybe like what you might pay, what your financial aid package might be. So that's a great resource. Some schools are better than others, but if you're not sure if that's going to be a good match as far as finances for you, please do the net price calculator. It's always better to have a conversation about schools and what you can afford in the fall than to have it in the spring. Because kids get really upset if the finances don't work out and they didn't know that ahead of time. Scholarships. I just sent out an email to all seniors and their parents, a listing of some scholarships that are on Naviance right now. I'll do that occasionally. Scholarships are added to Naviance every day by the county. So there's a lot of different scholarships on there. So every time I send out the email, it will be a different list. So check with the colleges to see if they have any scholarships. Some do, some don't. But that's typically where students get most of their scholarship money from. And typically those scholarships are renewable, which means that you can get them every year at college if you maintain a certain GPA. Okay? Most of the scholarships that are listed on search engines and on Naviance are like one-time deals typically. There's two search engines that I use. I tell children to use all the time, FastWeb and Sally Mae. Those are great. And then Google. Google's a great resource. Type in scholarship and like a unique characteristic of your child and see what comes up. So Financial Aid Night, we'll get into more detail about all this, but just wanted to point that out to you. After we're done, we're going to do, you guys are going to go to breakouts, different locations. So I'll put this back up. I think we're supposed to be on a different slide. Oh, I guess that's all my slides. Okay. So now we're going to do a breakout session. I guess, Dr. Lee, are you going to announce or introduce everybody? If you can, you all have a handout. You can scan that, take a picture of it, the QR code. You'll get a link to the Robinson website where all the forms are that the counselors are going to talk about.
Right, so we want to give you time to meet with your counselors in a smaller group setting. And so I'm going to dismiss you into groups. What I'm going to do is ask for parents whose students have Mr. Warmeyer and Ms. Lizowski lead first. So Mr. Warmeyer has students with last names A through B-R-A-M, and then Ms. Lizowski has students with last names S-C-H to T-O-N, and Ms. Lizowski is waiting back there and she will direct you out. She is wearing white.
You're not even saying I'm not even saying your class. I have homework. Are you going to school this week? So, no. What it is, I did this. So I have HR management. And I did this volunteering to this workshop. And it wound up being that way. I did it last year. But this year, I'm actually writing test questions for HR position, which I did not anticipate.
Okay, we're going to ask our next group of parents to follow Mr. Carter, who is back there. But this group of parents would be Mr. Carter, Miss Murphy, and Miss Nemec.
Excellent.
And that's all students with last names L-A-O to S-C-A. And Mr. Carter is in a suit back there, and he will lead you to Devala Hall. And everyone else is in here. If you're unable to use this QR code, I will have all the handouts on the website tomorrow. So if you look on the school website tomorrow, it'll be one of the announcements on the front page, linking you to tonight's handout.
Good evening, good evening. I am Ms. Johnson, and I have the great class of students with the last name Gass through Hug, so G-A-S, yeah, I love saying that, through H-U-G.
Hi, good evening. My name is Taylor Oakley, and I have students with the last name D-A-O to G-A-R, and I'm excited to be here.
Hi, my name is Catherine White, and I'm going to be the substitute school counselor for Ms. Pensnaken, and last names are going to be, there you go, Brad through Dan.
And my name is Mark Upperts. My alphabet is HUH through LAN, and we're going to get started here. What we're going to do is we have some slides we're going to go through, and then we're going to take questions at the end. We're going to try and leave plenty of time for questions. So if you have questions... Oh, that's right. Thank you. Thanks for reminding me. And we have one counselor who's not here, Ms. Nelson. She couldn't make it tonight. So we are going to answer questions for her. Okay? Quickly, what are colleges looking for? The automatic thing that parents and students go to is GPA, and what we like to say is GPA is a guide, but what colleges are looking for are the classes your students took and the grades that they got. Okay? They're going to adjust the GPAs, they're going to throw out certain classes, like they're going to throw out a lot of electives, they're going to throw out PE classes, they're going to look at the cores, they're going to look at foreign language. SAT and ACT scores is also a good guide for some schools. Most schools superscore. If you don't know what superscoring is, that is, colleges will look at all the different sittings, pardon me, that your student took the SAT or ACT, and will use the best score from each sitting, or the best score overall. So it doesn't have to be one sitting. So they'll pick and choose the best scores. Students are a little worried to send all their SAT scores. Colleges don't care what the other ones are. They're just picking out the best scores. So that's not a big deal. Essay, this is actually very important. This is where colleges get a good look as to who your student is. And the way I explain this to my students is, this is not like a high school essay that they're writing, which is if it's due at 8 o'clock in the morning, they bang it out between 10 and 11, go to bed, get up, take a look at it, everything is good. What this is this something that they craft. So maybe it's a prompt that they're writing to, maybe it's a personal essay, so they're writing about some important time in their life. They're going to write it, they're going to look it over, they're going to put it away, bring it back out, look it over again, make corrections, and then maybe have a couple other people look at it. But it's something that they're going to craft. It's not something that's just going to bang out. It's something that they need to be really thoughtful about. Colleges like to see creativity. So this is actually a good look into who your student is.
And if I could add, it really needs to speak from their voice. So I know as being a parent, sometimes we want to help and we start making a lot of suggestions. But keep in mind, the reader can tell if it's a 17, 18, 19-year-old student versus maybe someone else. So really just support them as they're writing and just edit, help them do it. And then the last tip is that they actually, a lot of the students wrote an essay through their English class. And so we recommend that they kind of use that as a great foundation to kind of springboard from there.
My wife works in the English department over at George Mason, and every once in a while they get calls from parents asking about helping writing a college essay. That's not what colleges are looking for. They're looking for it to come from the student. Activities and experiences are important. What colleges aren't looking for, they're not looking for 20 different activities and experiences or athletics or whatever. They're looking for, because they know if your student is doing 20 different things, they're not really doing anything. They're just hopping from one place to another place. What they're looking for is maybe 2, 3, 4, where they really get into it, it really has meaning to them. They get some leadership out of it, they really get something out of it. That's really what they're looking for. What are they gaining from these experiences? Letters of recommendation, you can see how far down that is. We're happy to write letters of recommendation. If you have any questions about those, we'll talk about those. We've been working with the kids every day this week, and we've been telling them to make sure they know exactly how many letters of recommendation schools are asking for and who they're asking from. Okay, schools want their students to pay attention to what they're asking for. And then visits to campus and phone calls are very important. Like Ms. Doyle said, some schools will track that. I sat in an admission session down at UVA years ago, and they were comparing several different kids, and one of the counselors said, well, this student has been to campus twice, I've talked to him 3 times on the phone, and we've gotten several emails from him. I think if we offer admission, he will come. So that can also be very important. Visiting campus is also very important. It takes a student about 30 minutes to decide whether or not that's the right atmosphere for them. Okay? As a parent, you will see things differently than your student will see things. And if you've been through this before, then you know that that is definitely the case.
I would like to add. Yeah, go ahead. If you took a summer tour with your student, that's an awesome time to see the campus with your schedule and theirs. But during the fall or the springtime is a great time to be the campus when it's lively, when activities are happening, when they can actually talk to students, professors one-on-one, and get their perspective. Is super important time as well. So make sure you're also checking out those open houses in the fall. It is not too late.
Applications are the student's responsibility. Okay? When parents fill out applications, they mean well, but they make some minor mistakes, which make some major problems. And so this is for the student to fill out. It's their responsibility. The different kinds of applications that we see is our early decision. Early decision application is a binding. You can only apply to one early decision school. It is a contract between the student and the school. If the student is accepted early decision, that is where they're going. We also tell the students, if you apply anywhere else, early action or regular, we ask that you contact those schools once you've gotten into an early decision school and withdraw the application. Because there's no need for them to look at it because your student will not be going there. Early action, the student applies early, they find out early, it is not binding, it's non-binding. So you don't have to make a decision until all the decisions are in. A regular decision is usually January, February, March, all the way up through August, depending on the school. A rolling decision is interesting. As in a rolling school, as application packets are complete, they start making decisions. So you can have a decision back in 2 weeks to a month sometimes, and that's nice because you know your child knows you're going to go to school somewhere. If a student is deferred, that is an early decision or early action decision. That just, all that means is your student is going into the regular pile. It's not bad. That might mean the school would like to see something else, and it's fair to ask the school, is there something else you would like to see? Sometimes they want to see another test score. Sometimes your students are borderline, so they would like to see their mid-year grades. All the applications are online. We've been telling the students it's important we know what application is being used. Is it a Common App? Is it a Coalition app? Is it a school-specific app? SAT and ACT scores are the responsibility of the student to get those sent from the testing organizations. And, oh, I forgot. So this is all the student's responsibility.
I guess I'll talk about it. So when a student is requesting a transcript, and I love visuals, so I actually brought one. We went through and we're meeting with all students and we finish tomorrow, and we literally broke down this form for them. So the request for transcript is a student's responsibility. They can get these forms from any sub-school, from a school counselor, but they have to return it to their school counselor, and they understand that process. It's important. We also really highlighted for them the importance of using the name that's on their transcript. So we have a couple students that have been going by their middle name or nickname, but when we all know in this room that it's an official document, they have to use their official name and be consistent with that. Once they turn in the form to the school counselor, we make sure all the information's on there, that it's accurate, and then we give it right back to the student. They then take this form, and if it's their first request for a transcript, they have to make sure they submit the FERPA form, or it's called the consent for post-secondary, post-secondary information. So those two forms have to be turned in. Now, the second form I'm referring to, you have to sign that form as well as this one unless the student is 18 years or older. They only need to turn in that second form, the consent one, only one time, and then they're good. We cannot send out any information until that form is received. So just one more time, they get the form right back as soon, the same moment. They take it up to the student service office, to Ms. Young. She's not there on Thursdays. And then they leave the form there. And from there, we make sure that it goes to the appropriate school and by the deadline. Now, I do want to kind of remind you, there is a lot of schools that have a deadline of January 1. What happens before that? Break. So please help your student, your senior, keep that in mind, that they shouldn't be running to us the Friday before break to submit a form that is due by January 1st. On this form, there are deadlines in the bottom left-hand corner that your student can share with you. There's a line for college deadlines, and then beside it is Robinson deadlines. So for example, if it's due on October 15th, they have to get it to us by September 17th. That's just in a couple weeks. We do remind them not to stress. It's not the application, it's the request for the transcript. The first 3 are free. Beyond that, they're $5 each. They also bring that money up to Ms. Young with the request form. Counselors do not take the money. What? We need it? No, that's okay. Review Robinson deadlines, I already said that. Self-reporting. So each student received an unofficial copy of their transcript, okay? On their transcript, in the bottom left-hand corner, it's gonna give the GPA summary. That's what we use. We don't use the junior GPA, we use the summary at the bottom. So they can share that with you, and that does include the 0.5 bump from various classes that they might have taken. Self-reporting, they need that transcript to use to report the grades that they might have. Also, council letter of recommendation, we have to have the input form. And there's a part for you as a parent or guardian to fill out. We love what you guys write. We use what you write, so please take the time to do it. We're not checking for grammar, we're checking for info, so please fill that out. That is located on the website. We're gonna also, Mr. Gombers is gonna send it out in an email to all seniors, and then they can also access it through Navient Student. All right. And there's the website. It is a couple steps, so you might want to use the Navient Student. We also reminded our students they need to get in the habit of checking their email daily, okay? That's how we do a lot of our communication with them. Also, colleges and universities will communicate that with them too. Community college options. So Nova, we have a beautiful relationship with Nova. They will come to our school in January. They walk our students through every single step. We have an information session, then we have an application opportunity for them to fill out the application. We have placement tests here. We take a field trip there. So we really take care of them through the process. And I'm saying we, I mean Nova. They are phenomenal. It is a beautiful option for our students to take. We didn't say this at the beginning, but our focus tonight obviously is on the college application process. However, counselors are here to support students on all the different pathways that they could possibly take. All right, military options. So today was the first day where we had the military come for the first day for the year, where they come to the cafeteria, and during that time they make themselves available for questions that students might ask. Sometimes they get a little competitive and they'll do push-up competitions. But the whole purpose is for them to see, one, the option of the military, and that there's so many different careers that they can go into, and with that as an option. They will need to take the ASVAB, and we share that information for those testing dates also. Oh, one other thing about the academies, and then I'll give it to Mr. Gompers. So with the Naval Academy, if, for example, that's just one of many of the academies, if your student is going through that process, make sure that if they haven't already, that they are talking to their school counselor about that, because there's a couple additional steps that we know we need to take to support them.
All right, so moving on to NCAA Clearinghouse. If your student is interested in competitive athletics in college, Division 1 or 2, they will need to be cleared through the Clearinghouse, and they'll create their own account on the website. They will then request a transcript with the green form that asks us to send an official transcript to NCAA, and we'll send that electronically for them. They'll process it the same way they would a regular transcript, however, we won't charge them to send that. It will be uploaded directly to their account. So again, Division 1 or 2 collegiate athletes, please remember that the transcript does need to be requested. All right, we're gonna break out for some questions.
Before we get started, can you hear me? I hate that. Okay, good. How many of you are doing this for the first time? Okay, good. So some of you have gone through this before, which is nice because the process has changed a little bit. So it's like going through it for the first time again. First of all, we're here. Did anybody come in the spring when we did, what? College 101 thing? Yeah, okay, hopefully that was helpful. Our objective is to get you to relax a little bit. We're going to work you through the process. Everything will be fine. We promise. Questions? And if you have a question for a specific person, just yell at us.
No specific person being sent the transcripts were given to the students with the GPA in the corner on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
When were those given? Because sometimes, imagine, things don't make it easy.
Okay.
We are still seeing them, so they may have.
Okay.
We're doing this through the kids' senior social studies classes. And so we have 3 periods tomorrow. Those kids haven't seen us yet. They'll be getting more, so that's a possibility. In our social studies class, we're going to pull them in separately. Okay? 'Cause there are some kids who are either not in the senior social studies class or online class or something like that. Over here.
So Mr. Clements said senior dues were $75, but we've already paid $100 for my son. What? Can you talk about
For
that?
senior dues?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to bail on this right off the bat because I know nothing about that.
Hey, I'm Mrs. Wolf, the class sponsor that you keep getting numerous emails from. Okay, the dues are indeed $100. We apologize for the misinformation on the slideshow. I believe it was a slideshow from last year where they were $75, but this year they are $100.
That is your
Thank
question?
you. Yeah. Okay.
I apologize. Yeah.
So, if I understand correctly, we fill out the request for transfer form, and then counselors send the transfer to the university we are applying.
Yes.
And who assigns the G number to application? Because we are applying for early decision, and we open the application, we are collecting information at this point. The application has been submitted, but it's missing some pieces yet.
Is this Mason?
Yes,
Okay, because the G number.
yes.
Okay, so who's your counselor?
Ms. Taylor.
Who?
Taylor Nelson.
Oh, Ms. Nelson, okay. Yeah, if you shouldn't be giving her the G number, she can put the G number on.
She,
Yeah, she can put it on there, that's not a problem.
so,
Okay, and that just makes it easier for Mason.
absolutely.
Yeah. And then you can. I saw something over here, yeah, over here.
We were filling out the application, and some of the schools, just want the transcript, and some want the self-reporting, as well as the transcript, and so it says it has to match the transcript and all the information you put in. So the one that you're giving it in, is that the information that needs to go in there then, not what was on the report card?
What school wants both?
Ohio State.
What?
Ohio State.
Oh, Ohio State. The Ohio State.
The Ohio
So basically, most of the time with self-reports, we'll,
So your student can take a picture of that unofficial transcript that we gave them, and they will just upload that, or they'll type in word for word our course with the grade. They just want to make sure that that matches, because some courses differ from state to state, and they want to know exactly what's going to appear when we give them their final transcript at the end of the year.
And then the GPA, you're putting on there weighted, so we have to make sure that it says on the transcript.
it says, our information says that the GPAs are weighted.
Okay, there's a thing for weighted and unweighted,
And we go weighted. We do not, there are a couple things we don't do. Number one, Fairfax County doesn't rank, because that'll hurt our students, okay? A student here at Robinson with a GPA, graduated with a GPA of 4.0 is probably outside of the top 20%, okay? But in other areas, they're gonna be number 1 or 2 in the class. So that hurts our kids, so Fairfax County doesn't rank. And we don't give unweighted GPAs. Because I promise you, you don't want me figuring that out. It's a guarantee.
So the GPA that you're seeing is up until junior year. At the end of junior year, unless your student took a summer course, then that is added. We send out the mid-year grades at the end of the first semester, which updates that GPA. And so your student doesn't have to come to us to send that. If they've requested a transcript, we'll automatically send their mid-year grades. And then at the end of the school year, when they do their senior survey, they'll let us know what school they will be attending, and we will send that one final transcript to the school they're attending.
And the other thing with self-reporting, they might start out the process with that, but they still will need to make a request for official transcript, because all schools usually want a final transcript sent from us, and that helps us make sure that we do get that final transcript out.
And when does that transcript need to be sent to those self-reporting schools? Is it varies from school to school, or is there a deadline that you all have?
You mean for your students, son?
You said if they're self-reporting,
Yeah.
transcripts still need to be sent, but when do those transcripts?
Well, it all depends on the deadline. It's individual by school. All depends on the deadline. Okay, the final one we will send the end of the year, shortly after graduation, we send the final one. Mid-year is usually in the second week of February. But as far as the initial, it all depends on when the school's application deadline is. Does that answer your question?
No, not quite. So if it's self-reporting,
Yeah. They do it right on the application.
the colleges.
But when do they submit
When they
their
want to
plan?
specify,
Oh,
even if they're self-reporting.
no, the colleges, no. The transcript request is coming to us, not to the college. So they just have to do everything by the college deadline. We, on the transcript request form, we have deadlines, and our deadlines are about a month prior to the college deadline, which gives us enough time to do what we need to do. Okay? So they just need to get it to us. And kids in the past have gotten really confused. Our transcript deadline is only for the transcript request form. It is not for the application. Some kids are stressed out trying to get the application done by our deadline, which is totally wrong. Am I hitting on what you're asking?
Not quite.
Okay. Then come up afterwards.
So a lot of the things that we tell our students is it differs between each school, and you need to check their website, because unfortunately they're not all on the same page with their requirements. So they really just need to check their website first, and the answer is probably there. If not, they can email, they can call, they can DM on Instagram, the admissions counselor, tag. There's a lot of ways to get in contact with the school.
And what I was referring to as far as self-reporting, you follow the school application deadline, that's when they should get the transcript in. We know, like, for example, Virginia Tech, that's self-reporting, right? And we know we're not gonna send an initial transcript, we know that we will send the final transcript. So follow the school's application deadline if it's a self-reporting school, and then we'll make sure that we send the transcript at the appropriate time.
Good evening, Robinson, and welcome to our high school back to school night. A couple of reminders, Ram Mall is located in the Gold Cafeteria. We encourage everyone to stop by and check out everything our vendors have to offer. Ram Mall will be going until 7 p.m. PE classes. Your son or daughter is in 9th grade PE, they will meet in the recital hall. 10th grade PE will meet in Russell Theater. And personal fitness classes will meet in the high school weight room. If you need help with Parent View, we'll have help in the media center from now until about 7:30. Schedules. You can pick up a copy of your child's schedule outside of the Career Center once the counselors have finished helping our senior parents. And staff, if you could please check Ms. Wong's email for a link to Ms. Phillips' welcome message. Be sure to show that at the beginning of first period.
Two things. If you have Parent View, you can view the schedule, your child's schedule in Parent View on your phone, just as a backup, if you don't want to go to get the schedule printed. Second thing, as a reminder, the handouts, this kind of refers to your question earlier, besides the transcript, obviously, the handouts that were given to your child, to your student, you scan this QR code and you will see those handouts. Okay, so this is really, really great for you.
This is super basic, and I'm gonna ask my kid what they would teach me. How do we scan it?
You just open up your camera, and if you tap the screen, it should focus right on this QR code, and a link will pop up. You click right at the top. You don't have to take the photo, you just tap the screen.
It works for everybody else. Question, yes.
Do you see any kind of notification that you have sent off the transcript or the reference letter? How do we get saying that that's been sent?
That's a great question. There are two ways you can see that, okay? It depends on how it is sent, okay? We will go into our side of Family Connection or Naviance, whatever they're calling it this year, and we'll put when we have sent it, and you can see it that way. If your child is applying to Common App, when we upload to Common App, it has the date that we loaded it. It also has the date that it gets downloaded on the other side, so you know when the school has got it. Well, that's a great question. You have a question?
Well, just real quick, if I can add, keep in mind the schools, colleges, and universities will send a robo message out to you saying they have not received anything.
It's a lie.
Be easy with it. No, but it is. It is a lie. If you think about it, they get thousands and thousands of requests and transcripts and all these other things. So it is a great thing what Mr. Gumper said. Please have your child senior check those two options to see if it's been sent. And what I've been telling my students, if you don't see it there, come in and let's have a conversation. Do not stress. This is not the first time we're doing this. We have sent out transcripts. No one has been denied because we didn't do our part. We do our part and we do it really well. So please don't stress that it has not been sent. Ask us, we're here to help. All of us have sat in the office, calling the rep, having those conversations with your students. So we do everything in our power to make sure that they have what they need to complete the process.
There are instances where a college does not receive the transcript, okay? That is not, by the deadline, that is not an issue, because your student will come talk to us and say, hey, school says that they haven't received it. I'll call the school. I'll ask them what's the best way for me to get it there, and we can still send it in, okay? The hard deadline really is like the November 1st deadline. Everything needs to be in by that hard deadline is for your student, that's for the application. Okay, if something comes in after that, that's usually fine, okay? Because they can't control test scores, they can't control our part of it, and so we work with the universities all the time. Hey, it didn't come in, what's the best one? Can I email it to you? Can I fax it to you? Do you need me to mail a hard copy? So we work with that a lot. So yeah.
So letters of recommendation, he was told he has to do those online. Is that through the Naviance or is that through something else?
It's probably
the
Common
teachers
App.
will upload that.
Probably Common App. And so what your student will do is put an email address in, and they'll get an email through Common App with a recommendation.
Once that recommendation is uploaded into a student's Common App, is it there for every application, or do we have to then ask for it every time?
They should put in the school and the teacher, because some schools only accept one letter, and it just depends on the application. So your student, when they're asking the teacher, they should definitely say, this is my deadline, and this is the school that I'm asking for, just so there's no confusion.
If we load it up to Common App, the schools that your child has put down on Common App, they have access to download that.
Okay.
So they will download it in their time,
Okay.
okay?
What's the last?
What?
670.
Is it better to get a recommendation letter from a counselor or from a teacher?
Good question, huh? Question was, is it better to get a letter from a counselor or a specific teacher? As a counselor, our favorite word is, it depends. What is the school act? Okay. A UVA is going to want 1 or 2 teachers and a counselor. Madison, if they're even going to read letters, and we're not sure they do, it's optional for Madison. They don't care who it comes from. Okay? So it all depends on the school. And the school, on the website, it should say, if it doesn't say on the website, then your student should call it the school and ask.
No, here's the second question about her then. If your child isn't sure about what school they want to go to yet, and they find out that there's 2 teacher recommendation letters, I'm already hearing that some teachers are already full, and they can't take it. So what is your student supposed to do then?
Just keep asking. And if your student is having a problem with that, come see the counselor, we can help. Everything gets worked out.
Probably overlapping, like I said, work at camp all summer, or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be great.
Coaches, leaders,
Yeah, absolutely. Scouting people, religious leaders, anybody they've done really good work for.
Did you have a question right here?
No.
You're good. Oh, okay. I do want to share, I believe this is one of the handouts, the contact information you were asking about the size of the class. That information's on here. We listed or gave them information that they would need to complete the Common App, but also maybe some other applications too. So that's all there too.
Other questions? Yeah.
Can you speak to the difference between the teacher recommendations and the teacher input?
Teacher input. There's input for our pack. Yeah, super easy. Okay. We used to ask teachers to give, or students to give teachers an input form and have them give it back to us. Okay, we stopped that because like 90% of what we got back from teachers was, oh, Johnny was a great student, came to class, turned in all his work on time. And that's something that we can't write a letter of recommendation, because that's an expectation, right? So all we've given out is a checklist of how your student is in class. We asked your student to give to 1 or 2 teachers, and they're going to give that back to us, because that check sheet is on our secondary school report, and it's the same one that's on the Common App.
But it can't be the same teacher, correct?
Well, it can be.
Okay.
We just said we prefer not, so you're not taxing like the teachers were saying, I'm kind of full. So we did ask them to choose. So the difference between the input is the input from the teacher helps us as a counselor write our letters. So we write about the whole child, the student in the classroom, from your perspective as a child in your home. And then the letter of recommendation is the more formal information that's sent directly from the teacher to the school.
When we had the kids give them input forms, right, we told them, don't give this to a teacher who's going to write a letter of recommendation, right? Because I don't want to write the same thing a teacher's writing, because that would make me look stupid. I don't need help looking stupid. I can do that all on my own. So.
Should the teachers that write a letter of recommendation, should be teachers who are teaching them as seniors, or should they be junior teachers?
That's a great question. Question is, teachers who are writing letters of recommendation, should they be senior teachers, should they be junior teachers?
You're the role.
Should it be senior teachers, should it be junior teachers? It should be junior teachers, if at all possible. And senior teachers haven't had them long enough yet, so they don't know them long enough in class. So they haven't had them long enough. Junior teachers are the last ones to have them for a year. Now, if your student has a teacher this year that they had as a freshman or sophomore, that teacher can speak to growth, that would be fine, okay? Because that teacher can then speak to growth. The other thing is, with teachers writing letters of recommendation, I've been telling kids, don't make it a teacher. If you just sat in the class and you did nothing and you didn't add to the class and you got an A in the class, that teacher has nothing to say. But if you got an A or a B in a class, but you really participated a lot, you helped other kids, you really moved the class along, that's a great teacher to use. Okay? Yeah.
Following up on that, if you're really mean parents and you move for a senior year.
What was that?
Our senior is new.
Okay.
So would you recommend us going back to a former school for recommendation, or do we try to make a friendship?
Does your student need a teacher letter of recommendation?
I think that's fine.
Okay. That's a really good question. If there's somebody at a previous school who can write it, and that is willing to write it, that's not a bad idea. Okay? If your student is not applying early, but applying a regular deadline, like a January deadline, there might be enough time for him or her to get to know somebody. So that's.
And if I can just add to it, that's a great part of your child's essay, right?
Yeah.
So definitely speak to that, and they do look at all of that. And then also encourage the student to go ahead and start building a relationship with that as part of the goal, and just being open with it.
And build a relationship with the counselor.
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to do one more general question, and then we're going to let you go. If you have other questions, we're going to just stay put, and you can come up and talk to us. One last question. We have an announcement.
Good evening and welcome to our high school back to school night. A couple of things before everything kicks off at 7 o'clock. Everyone should stop by Ram Mall, which is located in the Gold Cafeteria just off of the main hallway. Ram Mall vendors will be going until 7 o'clock. PE classes. 9th grade PE classes are going to meet in the recital hall. 10th grade PE classes in Russell Theater. And our personal fitness classes are going to meet in the high school weight room. If you need help with parent view, that can be found in the media center. Parent view help will be available until about 7:30. And once our counselors get done with senior parent meetings, they will be available outside of the Career Center if you need help with your student schedule. Staff, just a reminder, be sure to show Ms. Phillips' welcome message at the beginning of first period. Everybody should be in their first period class at 7 o'clock.
Okay, if you have specific questions about your feel free to come on down.